The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. Longman Simplified English Series. Read by Miss Metavi Simmons. Chapter 29. Huck Can't Bear Those Way. Boy fight caused great excitement in the poor little village of St. Petersburg. Every haunted house in St. Petersburg and the neighbor village was dug up for hidden treasures, and not by boys, but by men. Some of them were serious, sensible men too. Wherever Tom and Huck appeared, they were admired and stared. They were unable to remember that their remark had proceeded with before, but now the saying were treasured and repeated. Even the village paper published account of the life. The widow Douglas invested Tom's Huck money at 6%, and Jess Thatcher did the same with Tom's. And on police request, each boy had an income. Now that was simply gigantic. $1 off every weekday in the year, and half of the Sundays of $1 and a quarter a week. In those sample days, a boy could be fed, lodged, and sent to school, and clothed and watched too. This teacher had formed a high opinion of Tom and said that he hoped to see him a great lawyer or a great soldier some days. He said that he meant to arrange that Tom should be admitted to the military college and afterwards to the best law school in the country in order that he might be ready for 80 profession or both. Huckfin will and the fact that he was under the widow Douglas protection introduced him no drug him into society, and his suffering were more than he could bear. He bravely bore his misery for 3 weeks and then was missing. The widow was full of anxiety and rushed for him everywhere. The public also searched high and lower and even dug the river for his body. Early the third morning, Tom Wiley went hunting about among some old empty barrels behind the range. And in the one of them he found the deserter. Huck had slept here. He had just breakfast upon some stolen oat and was stretched out in comfort, smoking his pipe. He was untidy, unkempt, and dressed in the same old rags which he wore in the day when he was free and happy. Tom pulled them out. Tom pulled him out when he was free and happy. Tom pulled him out, told him of the trouble he had been causing, and urged him to go home. Huck's face lowered its contentment. Don't talk about it, Tom, he said. I've tried. I'm tried, and it doesn't work. I'm not using to it. The widow's good to me and friendly, but I can't bear those way. She makes me up. She makes me get up, and at the same time, every morning she makes me wash, and servants come me to pitch. She won't let me sleep at the woodshed. I'm forced to wear those horrible clothes. They won't let any air get through somehow, and while I'm wearing them I can't sit down or lay down or roll about anywhere. I have to go to church and wear shoe all Saturday. The widow get up by a bell. She eat by the bell. By a bell. She goes to bed by the bell. Everything's so horribly regular that I can't bear it. Well, everybody lives like that, Huck. Tom, I'm not everyone, and I can't bear it. It's awful to be tied up so. And foods come too easily. I don't take any interest in it. That way, I have to ask to go fishing. I have to ask to go swimming. I have to ask if I want to do anything at all. They made me talk so nicely and correctly that I had to go in the woodshed and curse off for our time to talk the rotten taste out my mouth, or I'd have died. Tom, the widow wouldn't let me smoke. She wouldn't let me shout. She wouldn't let me yawn or stretch or scratch in front of people. Besides, the school will be upon soon, and she want me to go to it. I couldn't face that, Tom. Look here, Tom. Begin rich. It isn't what people pretend it is. It's only worry and sweat and wishing all the time we're dead. Now this clothes suit me and this barrel suit me, and I'm not going to leave them anymore. Tom, that money have been a cause of all this trouble. I mean, now take my share of it. Give me a few cents now and again. Not offer, for I don't care much for a things unless it's fairly here to get and beg the widow to let me go. Oh, Huck, I can't do that. It isn't fair. And besides, if you try this kind of life just a little longer, you'll begin to like it. Like it? Yes, you'll say that. You say next that I'd like a hot stove if I set on is long enough. No, Tom, I won't be rich and I won't be shut up in those horrible houses. I like the wood and the river and the burrow and I stick for them too. Hang it, just as we got gun and a cave and are all ready to rob. The widow's foolishness spoiled it all. Tom saw his opportunity. Look there, Hug, begin rich. It isn't go. It isn't going to pretend me from being a robber. No. Oh, do you really mean that, Tom? It's extra as I'm sitting here, but Hug, we can't let you join the gang if you were not respectable, you know? Hug face cloud. He can let me join, Tom? Why? Didn't you let me be a pirate? Yes, but that's different. A robber is more high class than a pirate. As a rule, in most countries, there are of very high ranks, lord, and people like that. Now, Tom, haven't you always been friendly to me? You would. You wouldn't keep me out, would you, Tom? You wouldn't do that now, would you, Tom? Heck, I wasn't want to. I wasn't want to, and I don't want. And I don't want to. But what would people say? People say, why? They say, Tom Sawyer gangs. There are some very low class fellow in it. This mean you Huck. You wasn't like that, and I wasn't. Huck was silent while a struggle was going on in his mind. Finally, he said, "Well, I'll go back to the widow for a month and see if I can bear it. If you let me join the gang, Tom." "All right, Huck, I agree. Come along, old fellow, and I ask the widow not to be so hard on you. Will you, Tom? Now, will you? That's good for you. If she'll leave out some of the hardest things, I'll manage to live there or burst. When are you going to start again?" "Oh, at once. We'll get the boys together and have swearing in tonight." "What was that?" "It's too old to stand to stand by one another and never tell the gang secret, even if you cut up into a little bit. That's grand, Tom. That's really grand. It is. It isn't it? And all that swearing must be done at midnight in the loneliest, awfulest place you can find. A haunted sound is the best, but they are all dug up. All dug up now. Well, midnight good. Anyway, Tom. Yes, so it is. And you to swear on the coffin and sing out with blood. No, no, that's glorious. Why is a million times better than being a pirate? I stick to the widow till I die, Tom. And if I came back, I became a first class robber, and everybody's talking about me. She'll be proud that she dragged me. She dragged me in out of the rain.